This video was produced to appease the Victorian curriculum. Melbourne has become one of the most populous cities in Australia. With more and more people migrating to Australia, it's no doubt that Melbourne would be one of their top choices. Melbourne Airport is in the northwest of Melbourne, and currently doesn't have any public transport, aside from bus routes. There have been many proposals to build a train to Melbourne Airport in the past, but they all fell through. A heavy rail connection would benefit the local suburbs by giving an area with limited public transport more options to move around. It would also help people coming from the airport to travel to the CBD easier, which allows them to access the rest of Melbourne, and it would reduce traffic all over Melbourne. History. When planning for the construction of Melbourne Airport, a heavy rail line was proposed in the 1950s. It would have been an 18-kilometre tunnel starting from Southern Cross, then known as Spencer Street, to Tullamarine. It would have been the longest tunnel in Australia if built. Melbourne Airport opened in the 1970s to replace the nearby Essendon Fields Airport, as Essendon Fields simply could not handle the larger jets. Soon after, a scheme to build a Paris-style monorail to Melbourne Airport was considered, roughly following the Moonee Ponds Creek, starting from Broadmeadows railway station to the airport. A dedicated rapid transit busway was proposed in the 2000s, and it would run along CityLink, and is basically just Skybus with separated lanes. The current proposal will be constructed in 2029 and run along the Albion to Jacana freight line. A new double-track bridge would be built parallel to the Maribyrnong Viaduct, and 2 railway stations would be built, one at Melbourne Airport and one at Keilor North. Alignment. Once the metro tunnel is constructed, trains from Melbourne Airport will run through it to Pakenham. Currently, the junction between the Sunbury line and the Jacana freight line is a flat junction. With the introduction of airport trains, an overpass would be built over the Sunbury lines. An extra pair of tracks would be built alongside the Jacana freight line, until just after the M80 and Calder freeway junction, when the airport line would split from the Jacana freight line and go along the median of Airport Drive. The line would continue through the car park and end right outside Terminal 2. A new bridge over the Maribyrnong and a new station at Keilor East would also be provided. Why isn't it going to be built? In early 2023, Transport Minister Jacinta Allen said due to Victoria's current $122 billion debt, the project was going to be put on hold until further notice, probably to try and recover from the debt. A dedicated bus lane on CityLink has been campaigned ever since the project was delayed. Firstly, the airport rail link would supply the northwestern suburbs with a much needed heavy rail connection, as the only public transport they have right now are tram routes 59, 57 and 82, plus a couple of bus routes. To get from Keilor East to the city by public transport, currently the journey would take an able-bodied adult around 45 minutes. If the airport rail link was built, then your travel time would be cut down to 20 minutes, and you don't have to change for a connecting train. Airport rail link should be built, as it would cut down travel times and supply the northwestern suburbs with a much faster and better option. Secondly, people who arrive at the airport can easily access the city. The city is the heart of Melbourne, and is where most business happens. So wouldn't it be so much better to allow tourists and migrants to experience the soul of Melbourne 30 minutes after they arrive? The current fastest method of getting to Melbourne CBD is the Skybus network, with a time of 37 minutes. But the caveat is, it comes with a hefty fine of $22 an adult. I know if I was a tourist, a migrant, or even as a Melbourne resident myself, I would want to save money as much as possible. With the airport rail link, the ticketing system would be the same as any other government-owned public transport in Melbourne, and extremely affordable, $4.30. People who have recently arrived at Melbourne would all benefit from the airport rail link, as it is more affordable and quicker. Thirdly, traffic all over Melbourne's road network would be reduced. The preferred method of getting to the Melbourne Airport is of course driving, as Melbourne, like other cities, is extremely car dependent. The Tullamarine Freeway, CityLink, is the main method of going to Melbourne Airport. And in using a bit of simple math, CityLink carries around 80,000 vehicles a day, and around 10,000 of those cars go to Melbourne Airport. If the airport rail link is built, then at least half of those cars are off the road. That's another 5,000 cars off the road each day. But that's only CityLink, with the M80 ring road also contributing around 5,000 cars to Melbourne Airport. Then in total, that's around 13,000 vehicles off the road per day, all over Melbourne. Traffic all over Melbourne would be reduced, as people would choose a train instead of driving. Lastly, your average Joe may say the airport rail link costs too much. It's a waste of taxpayers' dollars. The airport rail link costs $10 billion to build, which is almost double of what it costs to build Sydney's airport rail link. However, if people are so worried that the airport rail link costs so much, then why aren't they concerned at the Westgate Tunnel, a project which costs $11.9 billion to build, and is utterly pointless when the Westgate Bridge exists? With the amount of money being poured into the Westgate Tunnel, you could simply cancel the Westgate Tunnel, a bit late for that now, and use the budget from that to build the airport rail link, a project which isn't as useless. People may say the airport rail link costs too much to construct. On the other hand, the Westgate Tunnel costs the same amount, but is useless. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video about the airport rail link. As mentioned at the start of the video, this was made for a school oral exam. If you have any suggestions on what video I should do next, then leave a comment below. If not, I'll see you later.